Time is money. It's an old saying. But does it still hold true today? I'd say no. I mean, I think there was a time when maybe it was true. There was a time when, we weren't connected 24/7 through our smartphones. We didn't have laptops to take our work home with us. In those times where people worked, 8 till 4, maybe it was true. But in this day and age, it's just not true anymore. Time is so much more valuable than money. It's really, really important, I think, to think about that. And I know this firsthand. I started a business a number of years ago, and I was working 80 to 100 hours a week, and I was on the road traveling. I was traveling 260 days a year. I was missing seeing my family grow up. It was really hurting my relationship with my wife. I was neglecting friends and family, really, and I wasn't doing it because I loved it. I mean, of course, I was driven, and I enjoyed the business, and I loved growing it and doing those things, but I was really working those long hours because I didn't know any other way, and I was sort of stuck. I was, always running from client meetings and sales meetings to fighting fires with staff, operational issues, dealing with those, just day-to-day things constantly coming up, and taking up a lot of time. And I would employ staff, good staff, and they wouldn't be able to get things done the way I expected. And for a long time, I thought, this is because the staff are hired wrong. It's difficult to get good staff and all these things. And then, it dawned on me that it's not them, it's me. The problem is I don't have a framework to manage. I came from an accounting background. I have a lot of technical knowledge, but I didn't really have the framework to knowledge and knowledge to be able to manage these things appropriately. So when I realized that, I set about changing that, and I developed a framework for management that has become extremely effective, and I've actually been able to sell this framework into very large corporations, and I've just recently adjusted this framework to be able to sell it into medium-sized and smaller businesses at a much more reasonable rate and way, so they can get access to it as well. And really there were sort of three key things that I had to change in order to achieve this, and to achieve what I call financial peak performance, which is a way of teaching your business to manage itself. And the first thing that I had to do is I had to ignore the old way of managing people. Your typical way of managing people is to give them instructions. Here's how you do something. Go and do this like this. And instead really pull back and think about the why. Rather than how do you do it, why do you do it? And give them some parameters around what needs to be achieved, and then let them work out the how. And the funny thing is they actually came up with better ways of doing it anyway. So it was a huge benefit there. The other piece really is around measuring your business and understanding your business. So I just got rid of the old way of measuring a business, sales, profit, monthly reporting, and instead I switched it to what I call ultimate customer values, which is a way to really focus on your business from a customer point of view and understand and measure your business from a customer point of view. Now, this is great because it adds a lot of value to customers, which then in turn adds value to your business. And then the last thing that I did is, I developed a short interval feedback sessions. And what these are, it's really a process for your staff to be able to come up with ideas to problem solve and make decisions on their own, so you don't have to be involved in everything. And this was a massive game changer. This allowed me to step away from the business and really allowed the business to start managing itself. Now I'm still involved, of course, but the staff have taken on, they took on much more of the day-to-day activities. They took on a lot more of those, they took ownership of them. And that allowed me to step back and work on those bigger things, work on where the business is going, work on managing those bigger items and problem-solving ideas they came up with. And at the end of all of that, I think, so for example, today I've been having an hour of clarity session. Now, 3-4 years ago, this would be impossible. I just couldn't get away and take an hour out sit down and just think about the business. And I think it's totally, totally critical for you to grow and for you to really improve. So, these days I work less hours, I make more money, and the business ticks along without me, which is exactly what I was aiming for in my business. I started the business to have more flexibility, to have more time with my family, to have choices. And, it didn't work out that way because I had less choice. I had all of these things going on until I built this framework. And so now the framework is in, I have those choices now. I can make those changes. But, you can do the same. Anyone can do the same in your business. You just need to make sure that you focus on those key three things. And remember, it's not a magic formula. You need to take some time, you need to take some effort, but you can do it. Get a methodology, use a methodology. If you want more information about the financial peak performance methodology, then reach out. But you can use a different methodology. But just get in there and get it done. Focus the energy and the time on it. Get it done.